Hey, what's up YouTube? This is NuggetsHoopster, and today I'm bringing you guys a deck discussion about Machinas. This will be kind of similar to Robbie Cole's videos about his gadget decks, but like not really, because I'm not really like an avid gadget player like he is. But today I'm going to be talking about like the differences between tech choices and staples in the current deck list that I have going for me right now. Every week I think I'm going to try to do something like this where I talk about some aspect of the deck. And so I just thought that staples versus tech choices would be a good way to start the deck off. I mean, it's kind of just for those of you trying to build the deck. Hopefully this will somehow help you in a way. And for those of you who don't play it, maybe you'll learn something about the Machinas that you didn't know before. So I think that the 3 gear frames are obviously staples. There's really a reason why you wouldn't run 3, so I feel like those are definitely staples. For this format, I feel like 2 peacekeepers are staples. Last format, definitely only want to run 1, but this format, definitely gonna run 2. Getting to gear frames is a lot more important than it was last format, I guess, because there are a lot of decks that didn't really care if you had an 1800 beater out. But this format, it seems like it's a lot more important in that aspect, like versus Glads and like Blackwings and stuff like that. Getting out the beater is really important, and the fact that you can equip it onto this and then they try to kill it, this goes instead and you get one of that. Like, that's just too good, I think. The fact that when you equip it, he becomes a floater, and then you go get a +1. So it's like a +1 into another +1. So, pretty ridiculous. 2 Forgers, I think, is also a staple of this format. I do not think you need to run 3. He's definitely clogging your hand, because this format, I don't feel like you really want to overextend that much. Except maybe in your back rows. Like in the back rows, I can see reason to be setting a bunch, but I really do not like summoning like a bunch of monsters in really any circumstance. The fact that they can go to black rows really easily, and there's dark hole around. I really do not like to drop a bunch of monsters on the board. So he's also really clogged because they're really good. But just the fact that they get eaten up by bottomless, eaten up by D prison, and they just sit there in your hand for the longest time. So I'd rather have more proactive cards like Peacekeeper, where you can just summon the guy, get it, and then equip, and then there you go. 6 gadgets I think are definitely staples. I mean, there's really a reason to run 9. Like, that's kind of overkill. And it's just to help keep the pluses going, and also get to run bottomless, which is kind of nice because like bottomless is somewhat dead against this deck. Like I said, this guy eats up bottomless, but that's the only really benefit of keeping him bottomless against like this Machina deck. So 6 gadgets really good. It goes with the flow of the deck. And then these last 3 are tech cards. So the first one I want to talk about is Spirit Reaper. You run a lot of monster removal, such as Dimensional Prison, and like, I don't know, nope, Smashing Ground. So I think there's really a good reason to run this. Like, turn one, you could go set that, and then set Prison, or set it, and set like a Solemn Warning or a Bottomless or something during your turn. Just go flip, and make him waste cards that they normally would want to waste, like a Torrential, a Mirror Force, a Solemn Warning, something like that. My good friend said that he was playtesting against GBs, and like every time he dropped this, the GB player had to either like Mirror Force, a Torrential, or Solemn Warning it or something. That's just good, just be able to get that out of the way, and then it's just good. Like Reaper, also the fact that it can't be killed by battle, it's really good against everything but like GBs. GBs, I feel like this deck has a pretty good matchup against. So Reaper, definitely a very good tech choice for this format right now. Gale is really good because this deck sometimes can have problems with Stardust. Like, you can usually always have a Fortress or like a D Prison or something, but these Smashings don't really do anything. So you can summon this half and attack, obviously. This also lets you tune, which is really nice, because tuning with a floater like a gadget is really like convenient because you don't really lose any advantage when you synchro. So that's really nice. And I don't know, Gale's just a really versatile card, so I think Gale's a really good tech card for this deck as well. And then last, you have a Veiler. Veiler, I feel, is really important for the deck because Trapstone can sometimes be very hurtful to the deck. So you want to have a backup plan. I feel like in the 2 matches that I lost, if I would have had this card in my deck, like just the possibility of drawing it, I would have actually maybe had a chance of winning those games. So pretty much just of that reason alone, I thought that I should put this card in my deck. And it's also a tuner, which is really nice. You can synchro with like a gadget to a Catasser, which is really good this format versus X-Sabers. Or you can synchro with 2 of those to Mistworm. So once again, a very versatile card that definitely can, you know, deserve a main deck slot. I feel like 3-Pod Duality are definitely staples. The card is just way too good. No reason really not to run 3. So, card's just too good. Like, literally, if you play this deck, like, every time you draw this card, like, you should have, like, a smile on your face. Not, I mean, not like a weird way, but card's just good. 3 Smash and Ground, definitely staples. Card is way, way too good. In this deck. Just to put more pressure on your opponent to keep field presence. The next card, 3 Book of Moon. I think this is tech, actually. Call that weird or whatever, but Alex Vanson didn't run any of these. He ran 0, Zip, and I just put in the 3rd one yesterday. I feel like it's too good with everybody running Trap Stun. Breaks up Faltro plays, breaks up Black Rose plays. So I feel like you have to run 3 of this. And, like, since I feel like Alex didn't run 3, then that kind of makes it more of like a tech card. So, book. I would try 3. Pot of Avarice. I think this is a tech card. It's been really, really good for me so far. It's definitely a slower card, obviously. And it just kind of keeps the pluses going. So, I think Pot's a tech card. I think that 2 MST is a staple in this deck. This card's too good in this deck. Like, in some other decks, you probably don't need it as much, but I feel like in this deck, it's really, really, really good. So MST, definitely try out 2, like, if you're not running 2. I feel like 2 is really good. And then you got staples, obviously, like those. So, yeah. Next, 2D Prison. I feel like you could maybe run 3 of this. You maybe run 1 of this. You can maybe run 0 of this. 2 is probably the most consistent way to run it. But you could run it as a tech card just as 1. You could not run it at all because it's really slow. Because I'm kind of have mixed feeling about the card because it is really, really slow, and Hunlei just totally destroys it, and so does Black Rose, and so does like everything. But I mean, it just kind of goes with the theme of keeping out like monsters every turn. So I feel like I kind of have to run it for right now, and until I find a better card, I think I'm gonna run 2. 2 Bottomless are staples, always will be for a while. 2 Solemn Warning. This is another card I think that you could tech. 2 is like 2 again is the most consistent way to run it, but you could run 3. Alex ran 3. I didn't think 3 was very good because you have to pay a lot. And like, sure you open with it, but man, I can't imagine drawing multiples of these. So I just really like 2. Like, I think 2 is just most consistent, but you could just run 1. I mean, I think it'd be foolish to run 0. It's just too good right now. Torrential and Mirror Force, but obviously the nuts. Pression, yeah, that card's so good. And then Solemn, obviously. Yeah, really, really good. So that was staples versus tech cards in the Machina deck. I really, really like this deck, like I said, obviously. Otherwise, probably wouldn't be doing this video. I think this deck has a lot of potential because it's so consistent. It doesn't really have a bad matchup, I don't feel, except for maybe Herald. Pretty much everything else, like, I mean, the only time you really lose to Herald is like if they open Herald Decree, which like most decks really can't do anything into that except like X-Sabers. So I mean, like maybe I'll side something for Herald, which is why next time I'll talk about side deck in this deck, and I'll explain why I sided some cards that I sided and what cards I'm going to change. The only change I made in this build, since the one that I showed you after regional, I took out Trooper for Effect Veiler, and then I took out Limiter for a 3rd one of this. So those are the only changes I made, so you guys didn't really miss that much. But that's it, guys. I talked for a while, talked for more than I wanted to, actually. And I guess the last thing I want to say is, like, isn't this mat really sick? Like, I think this mat is just like the sickest thing ever. My dad got it for judging. I'm just like, wow, this is so sick. So, anyway, guys, hope you guys enjoyed. Remember to rate, comment, subscribe, and peace.